You've probably heard people talk about our planet having lungs, right? It's a really powerful image, but the actual science behind it, well, it's way more amazing, and probably not what you're thinking.
So let me ask you, what are the lungs of our planet? I'm going to bet that for most of you, one place just popped into your head, the incredible, sprawling green Amazon rainforest. But is that the whole story?
Okay, we've got to dive into this because the real answer is so much more complex and honestly just fascinating. What we think of as common knowledge on this is actually one of the biggest misconceptions about how our planet really works.
See, the reality is Earth basically has two lungs. The Amazon rainforest, yep, but also the ocean. And here's the kicker. They have totally different jobs. It's not like they both do the same thing.
Think of it this way. One of these lungs is all about producing the actual oxygen that, we breathe. The other one acts like a giant planetary air conditioner, a massive system for controlling the climate. So, which one is which? Let's get into it.
All right, first things first. Let's tackle that big myth head-on. This idea that the Amazon is our #1 oxygen factory. We're about to find out who the real oxygen champion is.
You have definitely heard this stat before, that the Amazon makes 20% of the world's oxygen. It gets repeated all the time, but it's a huge misunderstanding. Yeah, the trees there produce a colossal amount of oxygen. But, and this is the important part, the rest of the ecosystem, all the animals, the insects, the decaying leaves, they breathe most of that oxygen right back in. So the net result, what's left over for the rest of the planet, it's pretty close to zero.
And wow, this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? When you look at the net contribution, the oxygen that actually makes it into the atmosphere for us to use, the Amazon is almost a flat line. The ocean, on the other hand, is the absolute powerhouse. It's responsible for a staggering 50 to 80% of it.
And what's so wild is who's doing all this heavy lifting in the ocean. It's not giant kelp forests. It's these microscopic little guys called phytoplankton. Billions and billions of them just floating near the surface. These tiny powerhouses are the real heroes. Seriously, for every 10 breaths you take, you can thank them for at least 5, maybe even 8 of them.
Okay, so if the Amazon isn't our main oxygen source, then what is its big, critical job? Well, this is where we get into its true superpower as nature's climate control system.
The Amazon creates this absolutely incredible phenomenon called flying rivers. And no, that is not a metaphor. The forest has so many trees and they release such an enormous amount of water vapor from their leaves that it literally forms invisible rivers in the sky, pushed around by the wind.
The scale of this is it's hard to even wrap your head around. Every single day, the Amazon pumps 20 billion tons of water into the atmosphere. That is more water than the actual physical Amazon River dumps into the Atlantic Ocean each day. These flying rivers then travel for thousands of kilometers, delivering rain to farms and cities all across the continent.
So, here's the bottom line. It is way more accurate to call the Amazon Earth's air conditioner. Its true global importance isn't about pumping out oxygen. It's this immense, incredible power to regulate weather patterns, water cycles, and climate stability.
But wait, there's more. Beyond breathing and cooling, both the ocean and the Amazon play another absolutely critical role. They're the planet's 2 largest carbon vaults, locking away the CO2 that's driving climate change.
The ocean is the single biggest carbon storage unit on Earth, and it does it in 2 main ways. First, CO2 just dissolves right into cold ocean water, which then gets heavy and sinks, trapping that carbon in the deep sea for thousands of years. And second, remember our friends the phytoplankton? When they die, their little carbon-filled bodies sink all the way down, burying that carbon in the seafloor for millennia.
But the Amazon has its own amazing carbon vault, and it's not where you'd think. It's not just in the trees. There's a hidden black treasure buried right under the forest floor.
This treasure is called Terra Preta, which means dark earth. And get this, it's not entirely natural. Thousands of years ago, indigenous communities created this super fertile, super dark soil by mixing in charcoal and organic waste. The result? There is more carbon locked away in the Amazon soil than in all of its trees combined. The ground itself is a massive carbon bank.
And once you understand how these 2 incredible systems work, it becomes just that much more terrifying to realize that this whole beautiful, interconnected system is now profoundly under threat.
First, let's just try to comprehend the scale. The Amazon rainforest covers about 5.5 million square kilometers. It's so big, it's almost impossible to picture.
It's more than half the size of the entire United States. It's just immense. And yet, in just the last 50 years, we've destroyed more than 20% of it, an area larger than the entire country of France. Just gone. And it's not slowing down, mostly due to cattle ranching, agriculture, and illegal logging.
And when this happens, you get this devastating 1-2 punch. The first impact is the obvious one. You cut down or burn the trees, and all the carbon they've been storing for centuries just gets released straight up into the atmosphere. But here's the second, hidden part of that punch. When that land is cleared and plowed, that ancient carbon bank, the terra preta, the black soil, gets broken open, and all the carbon that was locked away safely for thousands of years gets released too. Destroying the Amazon is like throwing open 2 doors of destruction at the exact same time. So now, let's just zoom all the way out, I mean way, way out, past human history, past civilization, to look at the ultimate fate of our planet's atmosphere. It's a cosmic perspective that is pretty humbling, to say the least.
Scientists predict that in about 1 billion years, Earth's oxygen-rich atmosphere is going to disappear. And this has nothing to do with us. It's just the natural life cycle of our sun. As the sun gets hotter, it's going to basically bake our planet, triggering geological changes that pull CO2 out of the air. Eventually, there won't be enough CO2 left for photosynthesis, and then, over a shockingly fast 10,000 years, oxygen levels will just plummet, and Earth will go back to being a planet where only simple microbes can survive.
So what's the takeaway here? It's that our planet's breathable atmosphere, this incredible gift, it has an expiration date, even if it's 1 billion years away. But knowing that doesn't make what we do today irrelevant. I think it makes it even more profound. Knowing this whole system is finite, how will we choose to act? How will we cherish and protect the precious few breaths we are so incredibly lucky to have right here, right now?